Hello, this is Alistair Post Quinn from Falling Blocks Designs. You can find my stuff online at double-knitting.com. I'm the author of Extreme Double Knitting and Double or Nothing, as well as a handful of standalone patterns. This video is basically a way for me to get my advanced students, people who are taking one of my 8 advanced classes, to learn the cast-on before they get to class. But if it helps you and you're not taking one of my workshops, then so much the better. So we're going to start off with 2 strands of yarn here. I call my light color my color A, my dark color my color B, so I'll be referring to them that way throughout this cast-on. You're going to start off with both yarns held together and tie a slip knot. They're just short tails here, so it doesn't really matter how long they are, especially for the purposes of just learning. If you're going to cast on for an actual piece, you want to make sure that these are long enough that you can weave in, but not too long. So this cast on is based on what most people consider the long tail cast on, but there are no long tails. Instead, we're working with the 2 active ends of yarn. These are both going to the source yarn balls off screen over here somewhere. And you're going to position your hands like this for what you would normally consider a long tail cast on. Now if you haven't done this before, this is how I like to position my hands. You let the 2 ends hang down like this, and the light color is going to be toward you, the dark color is going to be away from you. This is assuming that you want BA pairs cast on, so that when you turn and do the next row flat, you get AB pairs in the first row. If you're doing this in the round and you want AB pairs, just switch the colors. Now I'm going to do BA pairs for now. So I'm going to take my thumb and my forefinger and I'm going to stick them in between these 2 hanging ends, grab the rest of the ends with my other fingers, and then spread my thumb and forefinger while leaving some tension down here. And I'm going to pull my needle back so that there is sort of a slingshot effect. And you want to be able to see this little triangle here at the base of the thumb and another one here at the base of the finger. You don't want to have the yarn all the way down here in the crook of your finger, because you're going to need to access the far strand over here as much as you are going to access this one. So the first move that we're going to do, this is 2 alternating moves. The first move that we're going to do is a standard long tail move. And to do that, you take the needle and bring it in front of everything, up through the triangle at the base of the thumb, grab the finger strand from right here, just the first finger strand, pass it back through the thumb loop to the front. This, as you can see, gives you a loop of color B on the needle. Drop the thumb loop and tighten. So the next move we're going to do is a reverse version of that. Now it's not an exact mirror image, but it's pretty close. I'm going to bring the needle behind everything, up through the triangle at the base of the finger. So I'm going behind the first strand, so underneath the first strand, over the top of the second strand I encounter, and then I'm going to go underneath the first thumb strand I encounter, like this. So with this thumb strand on the back of my needle, I'm going to pass that back through the finger loop all the way to the back, drop the finger, and tighten. You can see that this gives you a loop of A on the needle. So that's a BA pair. When you turn it over, you get an AB pair. That's what we're going for. So let me do this once more. Again, needle in front of everything, up through the triangle at the base of the thumb, grab the finger strand from this direction, pass the needle back through the thumb loop, drop the thumb loop, and tighten. Now again, the reverse move, bring the needle behind everything, up through the triangle at the base of the finger. Now, you might be inclined to grab it from right here, because this would be an exact mirror image of what you just did in the other direction. The reason that you grab it from here rather than here is because look at the way the resulting loop is seated on the needle. This way it's seated forwards. This way it's seated backwards. So if you pick it up like this, it's a mirror image in every conceivable way. Your stitch is actually a mirror image stitch as well. It is a twisted stitch. If you do this, it's really okay. You can just fix the stitches on the way back. Every other stitch is going to be twisted, so if you encounter a twisted stitch, just work it through the back of the loop and you'll be good to go. You can also just ignore it. The next row you do will be perfectly normal. If half of your cast-on is twisted, I really doubt anybody is going to notice, and if they do, they're a little too close, I think. So, anyway, continuing, you're going to pick up this strand from right here, pass it back through the finger loop, drop the finger, and tighten. We're going to do a few more of those slowly, without commentary. Now I'm just going to speed it up and show you what the edge looks like. Okay. So here's your cast-on edge. This is going to look cleaner once the next row is done, but the other color does actually peek through to the other side. I think it's a very nice looking cast-on. If you want a completely invisible version of this, look out for videos about the Italian two-color cast-on. I'll have one of my own later, but there are others out there. There are others of this one as well. There are other people who use this cast-on. This is a cast-on that I developed back in the early 2000s, but I understand that there are people who are using it even before that, so while I may have independently developed it, I may also very well not be the first. So this slip knot, you can see, looks like another pear. It's not, and probably shouldn't be treated as one. It's actually perfectly stable as a pear, but it doesn't look all that good down here in the corner. So when you get back to the other end, once you've done your next row, and you turn it over, start your row, and go back in this direction, when you get to this end, just drop your slip knot. And if you're doing this in the round, before you start your row, before you start back here again, just remove the slip knot from the other end of the needle. I hope this has been useful for you. If you're interested in more of my work, definitely check out my website, double-knitting.com, and my books and patterns. And if you like, take one of my classes. I am teaching all over the country. Check out my events calendar, and I hope to see you soon.